friends, it's Sarah May for another episode of Help Me Be Me. So this is an episode for Angelica. So thank you for this awesome topic. I know it's a big one, and it's about regret. So it's hopefully to give you relief from the self-inflicted pain called regret. So if you suffer from just a chronic problem of regret, I'm going to give you a couple tools, and then I will separately address the major life-defining regret. But either way, this is for you. So the most important part of regret is it's not about what it's about. It's a ruse. So I'm going to basically try to logically dismantle it for you, because I do not suffer regret ever. Because it's not because I don't mess up. It's not because I don't feel the pain of that thing, but it's because there's no such thing as an undo button, and regret is just a worse sin than the original mess up, because it's like burning something valuable and throwing opportunity in the trash. So quite simply, it's just a really bad habit, and it's not about what it's about. You're punishing yourself for having to learn a lesson the hard way. Why? You want to feel bad because you feel like it's warranted, like penance. And it's just a trained-in compulsion. So your mind is naturally assigning it. And it has nothing to do with the thing you regret itself. So it's as though your life is somehow going to make it up to this thing that has already happened. And you only exist in your present moment. That's where you live. That's where you are. So by regretting things, you are unconsciously deciding to relive the thing you dislike that has happened in the past. So you're making it happen again and again in your mind. And that is illogical. And most importantly, it is worsening something negative by wasting valuable energy and focus on it. So you're continuing to create a problem, and you're creating waste. And that, I think, is the real problem. Because it's like building a bonfire in the center of your living room because you accidentally burned a hole in the couch. So often the source of regret is totally unrelated to the thing you think it is. Like, it's just often old residual feelings of low self-worth. And that's just the go-to label for all resonant feelings of pain. So it's like if you get that sinking feeling of just, oh man, what am I worried about again? And it just kind of creeps over you, and you'll think, what is this about? Oh yeah, I'm bummed because I ruined my interview. I wish I didn't do that. When in reality, that pain is coming from probably when you were a lot younger, let's say in school, and you got in trouble all the time. So the feeling itself is really tied to, I'm a bad kid or I'm a bad person. But regardless of the source, regret is just an automated reaction, and it must be deliberately undone. So how to untrain it? It's a 2-part process. So I will give you those now. And if you don't have paper, I'm going to post this in blog form per usual on my Teaspoon of Happy site. So part 1, recognize when it's happening and distract. So literally, you're going to have to recognize it logically and remind yourself of the fact that the real problem is wasting your valuable energy currently, and that it's a total waste of time. So just be really militant about untraining the bad habit and treat it like you would biting your nails. So shake your hand and say, stop it. But whatever it is, you have to recognize it, decide you're going to untrain it, and distract yourself. So literally figure out something else to think about, whether that's blasting a podcast in your ears, watching a movie, or calling a friend, or listening to a song that you know the words to and singing along. Like, you just have to get your mind onto something totally different immediately. And if you need to, you can write down these reasons to remind yourself that regret is pointless and wasteful. So these are the simplified reasons. You are being a martyr and you're self-punishing, and it's not helpful or positive. You are bringing toxins into your body that compromise your ability to focus and actually lower your immune system, just negative thinking in general. And third, you are acting out a new problem by wasting current energy. So it's all about acting as the person you decide to be. And that's just literally a decision, it's a commitment you make. And I have a happiness journal on my website that I have. It's basically like a daily practice, but there are these things called I am statements, or I call them that. And that's basically like just a daily reminder to yourself to act as the person you are deciding to be. And that's just all about remembering it and then acting in line with those values. So just imagine that that's like something you're, trained to do in school, like sit up straight. Like that's exactly what you're doing, but you're doing it according to values that you choose. So on your list, let's say you have things like, I am kind, happy, strong, balanced, focused, loving, or whatever. So when you write those things each day in your journal, you're basically checking the list again to remind yourself who you are, because it's all about what you decide to do in those moments. And so, for example, if strong is on your list and you are wasting time in regret, you have to remind yourself strong people don't do that. They don't waste time and wallow with regrets. It's a weak thing to do. And so that's just part of your commitment to yourself. And so you just literally have to decide to act in alignment with being a strong person. It's just like taking that job to heart. So if you want to be those things, act like it. You know better. And it's just about finally growing up. Like you're choosing to be the bigger person by acting in alignment with these things. And it might feel weird, like you're play acting at first, but it's eventually going to be just synonymous with you. It's like when you were a kid and you had to decide not to tease people, or you had to decide not to lie or something like that. Like you eventually you have to tell yourself to do it, and then soon it just is you. So if there's some part of you that feels like it's valuable to feel regret, like you are learning it better, know that that information is going to stick regardless of regret, because that's just a no-brainer. The current negativity doesn't make you learn it the hard way again. If you felt it, it's stuck. This is what it's like when you mess up and you have replaced a bad habit like regret.
Sarah, I have your LSAT exam, and unfortunately, I'm going to have to fail you because you used the wrong type of pencil.
Wow, that is a stupid mistake. I can't believe I did that. That's the last time I pick up a pencil without my glasses on.
Aren't you bummed about that at all?
I mean, what am I going to do about it? Can't change that. What is the incredible power I possess in this scene? I know where my heart lies. And once you have a strong tie to yourself and your heart, you just let the rest go. Why? Because it's totally illogical to focus on what you can't change. You're basically wishing you were living inside the movie Back to the Future. What a stupid waste of time. Unless you just love that movie, and then by all means just wish away. But that brings me to part 2, which is build an honest relationship with yourself. Just work on being consistently honest with yourself and being brave about owning exactly where you are. And know that the alternative makes you feel awful. So, know that you see your own thoughts, and you know when you don't mean something or when you're not trying your hardest. So show up for yourself by just deciding to always do your best. It's not like you have to win at everything. It just means you know it hurts when you are not proud of your own efforts. So decide you want to stand by every action you take and just make it a rule for yourself. I'm going to do my best. Just put in an effort, and if you can't, for some reason, if you are afraid, own it. It's totally okay. Just don't hide it. It's normal. So if someone asks you, why didn't you do such and such? Just say, I was too scared. And that's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to hide. Just show up for yourself as much as you can and let everything else go. What's so scary about being human? Nothing. It's okay. It's what you are. Why hide that? All you're doing is building a dirty scar on your back that no one else can see but you. And you're creating a false identity as a liar. I am deep down not good. No one knows but me. Once you get to know your own limits, just feel comfortable with them and say, I tried. I did my best. I couldn't because I was afraid or whatever it is. Nothing can ever make you feel bad about that because it's it's normal. That's exactly what you are. It's just you're a human being. People mess up. If you messed up because you're careless, say it. It's normal. Nothing to hide. What's so scary about saying, I'm sorry, it was a careless mistake. I wasn't paying close enough attention. I'll never do that again. So to recap, build honesty with yourself, show up, own where you are, and if you mess up, apologize and decide you're going to honor its weight by never repeating the same mistake twice. Lessons are gifts, all of them. Recognize their value so you can put them to use in your life. Use them and share them with others. They are your gold currency, professionally and in life. Just like being able to translate this to you right now. I had to learn it firsthand, and it's one of the greatest things I have to give. And if you need it, I get to give the gift times a million. So that's one of the greatest things about myself. So never forget, each day you live is a privilege. Life is precious. And the fact that you have it and you're alive means you must honor it by using it on things of value. And that means none of it should be wasted on regret. I want to address the other side of regret because it's not quite the same as the former. So if you're suffering from a life-changing biggie, like it's something that defined who you are after the fact, I recommend you work through this issue with a therapist. It's likely defined you and everything you believe to be true about yourself in ways that are completely life-altering, trajectory-altering. It's definitely something that needs to be untangled. What I can tell you right now is no matter what it is that you did that you regret, it's normal, and it's normal to react the way you have. You are a product of your experiences. And if you didn't have the right tools to choose the right things to do, that's something you have to learn from. And then you have to forgive yourself. And you have to ask forgiveness of others. And then you have to move on. And you have to decide to live. You have to let go of the need to hurt yourself because it's not going to change the past and it's actually making it worse. So just start from that point. Just a simple goal to make things better in any way. And just to use this lesson and to give what you've learned its value in the world. And I feel for you because I know that the pain is soul crushing. So just don't let it define the future because you can decide to unravel this knot. It's worth it and your future is unwritten. And if it's a really, really big deal, honor it. Honor it by choosing to give your lesson its practice. And if you're trapped by grief, you will likely have to process it and then learn about the stages that you are going through and have gone through. Because often, if you don't understand yourself and your actions, sometimes it turns into, I meant it. I'm a bad person. Just that's how your mind rationalizes it. So if it's especially major, you might do things you just don't understand. Like you're actually taking actions that compound it and make you feel worse about yourself. Like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy that you are bad. And it can be totally bizarre. I mean, the types of things that people do as a result of very traumatic instances, it doesn't really make logical sense when you're experiencing it. Like losing somebody, you can feel completely emotionless and unable to cry, like you didn't love them at all. That doesn't make sense. Or if your first sex was, let's say, a date rape, you will repeat that in all future physical interactions. Like you'll just treat your body like it's an asset or a gift to somebody else. Like you will be devoid of wanting pleasure. That's just how you were trained. Uh, all sorts of other weird things like that. They don't make logical sense. And you owe it to yourself to learn about your why. Like if you've gone through a traumatic experience, you're probably going to put yourself in dangerous situations because that's what your brain wants you to do to feel comfortable with the original trauma. That can set up a whole chain of events like I'm putting myself in danger constantly. I'm driving drunk. I'm closing my eyes on the freeway, whatever it is. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So, even if you don't know it, you are like many others before you, and your heart is in a good place. So, if you blame yourself, you're living a lie. And that is a real cause for regret because you are making a waste of this moment right now. So, decide you're going to change it. Just start there. And I will be thinking of you. I'll be cheering you on quietly. So I hope you go for it. I think it's worth it. And I hope that this has helped. And hope it's helped all of you in some way. And if you liked it, please review me on iTunes. And with that, I send you my love, vibes of positivity. And don't forget to smile.